Hello. Hello, all fans of New Jersey. I am Caitlin. This is my wonderful co-host, Katie. She is here. She is here. What is that? Are you wearing a Strahan or a Lawrence Tynes jersey? Strahan?
This is a Strahan rookie jersey.
I can't see. I don't think our audience can see. You got to show them. You gotta lean up. Well, I'm not wearing anything, and I was telling Katie before the show that I'm actually. There you go. That's good. That's good. The folks can see it. I am actually not. I'm not in my home. I am dog sitting right now, and you can actually see. So there's actually a Philadelphia Union flag behind me. So I'm in like such a weird realm right now. There is Philadelphia. There is Philadelphia sports all around me. There's actually the newspaper from when the Eagles won the Super Bowl to the left of me, and it's framed, and it's such bad juju. So like if this show,
I was literally about to say that is bad juju for the show.
It's such bad juju for the show. So like if this show sucks tonight, like I am just letting you all know, if you're watching live, if you're listening to the pod, like I am so apologetic because I'm just like, it's just like bad beams like are coming down on me right now. I'm just like,
episode 156, the lost episode of the Real Football Fans of New Jersey.
I just feel like I am just going to burst into flames. And like, honestly, like that's really what it is, like super bad juju. But what I was explaining to Katie was before the show is that we obviously always wear our Housewives gear. We wear our football gear. Yes. I didn't pack, and I woke up in the middle of the night last night and thought about it. Like that's what haunts my dreams. Like, oh no, I literally rolled over. I was like, shoot. But listen, I'm wearing blue, so we are close. It's like a teal blue, so we are as close as we can. But anyway, but thank you guys so much for joining us. This is episode 156. So as always, Katie and I are moving. We are grooving. We are adding these episodes up left and right. If you guys are with us live right now, if you're listening on demand, grab yourself a drink, whether it's, listen, we recommend wine, but if you want to grab a beer, if you want to grab some tea, because, we're always spilling the tea on this episode too. Yeah. Go ahead, grab it up and get comfortable because it's going to be a great episode. We are going to start with your questions. We do come after you week after week with polls, questions, everything we want from our audience. We got some great questions from you guys tonight. And as always, ask throughout the show. We're open to anything. So we did get some great questions tonight. A lot of it dealing with the draft, a lot of it dealing with the upcoming NFL season, some with Housewives. And I do absolutely love the diversity with all of these questions. So let's go ahead and get started. So question number 1, will the Giants trade up? And I'm emphasizing the word up because I always say down. And if you guys have listened to this podcast for the past 3 years, I always screw up and say you trade down.
Confusing.
I do that. I do it on Twitter, and I get reprimanded on Twitter all the time for it. Guys, my mind is just thinking from a high number to a low number. You can't. I understand. So will the Giants trade up from 11?
So meaning will they go to picks number 1 through 10?
Yes. So will the Giants trade up from 11?
No, definitely not. There's absolutely no reason to. And the Giants have made headlines this week because they've specifically said if they made moves, they will be trading down, which makes sense to me as well. Like as a Giants fan, I don't completely hate it. We only have like 6 total picks in the entire draft. That's not a lot at all. We could definitely get some draft picks. And I think we could probably still score a player that we'd like if we move down a little bit. We're definitely not going up because I think even staying in place at 11, especially with a lot of the quarterbacks going to be going before that, and we don't need a quarterback. There's going to be so many players we can look at, whether it's wide receiver, offensive lineman. I've seen a lot of Micah Parsons at linebacker. So many options. I really love the 11 pick, but I also am okay with going down and collecting more draft picks. So,
well, that's the thing. So like I see like the rumors of like, potentially going up. And it's like at this point, like if we're going up, the only person I only want is pick.
I didn't hear that. I heard strictly that they would be going down.
Maybe it's not a rumor. It's just chatter. It's like potential opportunities.
I haven't heard that. And I don't know why.
You got to look at Giants Twitter. They're all over the place. So you got to look at everything. So honestly, though, but what is at stake here is real estate. And what you had just said, the Giants don't particularly have much real estate in this draft. And you're comparing it to the entire NFC East. You're comparing it to the entire NFL.
Yeah.
And this is a team where we did actually made some big moves off season, but you you got to look at it in all aspects of things. Like, we want to have a good draft too.
Right.
Like, it's not like we're just going to jump up from the 11th spot and trade away all of this real estate to do pretty much nothing. So there's really nothing. I do understand being comfortable with moving down as well.
Yeah.
We just have to see what we can gather from it. Because again, we could get pretty comfortable and cushy. We all say the Giants do very well in the second round and beyond. So I don't know what will come of the first round, but the Giants are very well known to do well in the second and 3+ rounds. So
I think we're in a great position at 11. I really like it, and I think it's a comfortable spot for them to be at. And
I love it. I think it's the most comfortable I felt in a couple of years. So let's just we're in a good spot. I don't think I'd be particularly mad with who we take, who we don't take. We kind of and I think a lot is going to happen. And I know draft week is next week, and Katie and I will have a lot to throw at you next week. But I've been saying this to people: 1 through 5, I think, is going to be pretty hot and heavy. And I think things might happen that you might not expect. And I'm pretty excited for it next week.
I think the other thing too is when your team is picking 1 through 5, there's that's great, but there's immense amount of pressure to get it right and not mess up.
Yeah.
So I feel at 11, you could breathe a little bit. And also it kind of just comes down to how the picks 1 through 10 shake out.
Right.
You might have a couple guys on your board, and if one's already gone, you're like, okay, it is what it is. Now I'm going to take this guy. So it's kind of a safety spot.
Yeah, no,
That's
definitely. All righty. So let's fast forward to when the season actually starts. Mm-hmm. Who is your number 1 draft player for fantasy football this season?
I vaguely looked at the fantasy football rankings because they're already out for 2021 season. And I vaguely looked at them last week because I think we had mentioned something on the show about it. And I'm seeing Christian McCaffrey is still the overall number 1 like he was last season. Obviously, he was banged up last year. That makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Dalvin Cook at 1.
Yeah, I love that. I definitely, obviously running back is the area you got to go. You got to go quick. You got to grab what you can get there and see where the rest of the rounds take you. But I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. I'm a huge fan. I think he did wonders last year. He did wonders a couple years prior. We've spoken about it on the show numerous times. So listen, Dalvin Cook carried teams last year. I bring this up from time and time again. Teams won games teams won weeks last year because of Dalvin Cook alone. And I think that's great, but overall, end of the day, I think I got to go with Derrick Henry on this one.
Listen, now I'm remembering we talked about it last week because we got specifically asked in our game who were our top 3 fantasy running backs. And I do believe going running back at number 1. So I think when you have a mix of guys like Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Derrick Henry, I think you could do no wrong with one of those guys.
Yeah, definitely. All righty. Number 3, do you associate with Housewives? Do you believe in mediums like on the last episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey? So if you did not watch, the ladies had a medium come and speak to them and spoke from beyond. So I think the difference between a psychic and a medium is mediums talk to they talk to people in your past. So they don't talk. So psychics will predict your future and be like, oh, you're going to be married with 3 kids in 5 years from now. Or oh, you're going to get hit by a bus. Mediums are oh, someone is coming to me and talking. They talk to beyond the grave.
Yeah.
So do you believe in that?
I don't know if everybody listening is going to call me a kook or crazy lady, but I have a thing about mediums, and I'm kind of shocked that I've never been yet because I totally believe in them and I really, really want to go. So much so that I just tell my husband, I'm for my birthday, my next birthday, I just want to go to a medium. I know that's absolutely crazy.
I don't know if I want to come with you.
I know that's so crazy, but it's that thing on my bucket list that I just haven't done that I've literally wanted to do for years. So I believe in them.
I think the episode, there's so many, there's that, Hollywood medium, there's that show, there was the Long Island medium, there was So many. There's that other guy's name is John Edwards. I know there's a politician named John Edwards, but there's actually a medium named John Edwards too. He's done the Kardashians before. So there are like a bunch of people out there that do it. And like, I've heard the rumors of like, don't try to give them like as much. So if like someone says like, oh, do we know like a Katie in your life? Don't be like, yeah, like jump to it. Just kind of like let it go. So I thought like the New Jersey women were kind of pretty much like laid back. They were like,
Also easy to know about all these women because they're in the public eye.
So that's what I said. So my mom and I were watching the show together actually. And like we were both kind of like rolled our eyes, but there were certain things like Jackie had mentioned, like you'd never be able to find that out on the internet about me. So, but I think you can find out a lot, but I think you're right. Like I feel like I'm nervous to like go to one because like I don't want to know. I feel like a lot of them do not predict the future, but like tell you this. Like I don't know if I want that. Like that like kind of freaks me out because like I freak myself out over things that haven't happened yet, and I'm like, So like, do I really need someone else to come into my life and be like, this might happen? Like I won't sleep for weeks. Like I don't know, but they are. I think it is pretty cool. And like, there's obviously like many people in my life that have like passed on that I would love to see if they are really watching over me and like really behind me. So I thought that episode was obviously, it was, oh my God, the one part Katie and I were talking about was, Dolores, her old dog said hi to her. And she just, so basically it was hilarious because the medium told her that the guy that she's with right now isn't her soulmate and like isn't, and she kind of just like, whatever, and shrugged it off. And they go, oh, like your dog says hi. And she broke down.
I would break down.
Spot on though. Like spot on. Like, okay, like you're gonna tell me that? Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck. You tell me my
dogs over humans all day.
My dog, like literally. Yeah. So but I got very emotional at that point because and then like obviously they showed like the replays of like past episodes with her and the dog, and I just broke my heart. But that imagine like God. So maybe. So if you do it for your birthday, maybe I'll come and watch. Maybe I'll tell the medium, don't tell me anything bad. I don't want to hear anything bad.
All right.
Don't tell me anything bad. All righty. And then finally, who will be the first non-quarterback to go in the NFL draft this year?
Great question. I'm kind of stuck between two players.
There's like a decent amount of options. I'd probably say there's like 5 options.
There are. I'm kind of thinking that the first one could come at the 5 pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. I could definitely take them seeing offensive lineman Penny Sewell.
Yep.
From Oregon. I could see that. But
I've seen Sewell dropping is it dropping or to 11 to the Giants? Like I've seen that.
Ooh, that would shock me. But
I'll take it.
See him going at 5 and being the first non-QB. Or I know I've been saying on the show, like for the last however many weeks, that 1 through 4 is going to be quarterbacks. But I have seen a lot of buzz lately about tight end Kyle Pitts going 4 to the Atlanta Falcons. So I think it's one of those.
So I'm actually going with Kyle Pitts. I do think he will be. And honestly, he's really the only person, if the Giants in this weird fantasy world do trade up, like the person I would like to go after. The only person that's really worth it, in my opinion, if we're going, we're going to give away real estate. But I do see him as the first non-quarterback going.
Yeah. Yep.
Then obviously you do have a bunch.
It could be Jamar Chase.
It could be Jamar Chase. Ring him up. You have a bunch of the guys from Alabama, but I don't know if they fall that early, to be honest. Like, listen, it's 10. It's a wild draft, in my opinion, because we're talking about 10 people, but we're talking about, I don't know if someone will go as low as 5. And I think it's a very interesting draft. It's very interesting.
I think this is going to be a phenomenal draft.
These top 10 players are probably going to be some of the most talented players coming out of a draft in a very long time.
They're game changers.
They really are. So I'm so excited for next week. It's going to be truly a great Thursday evening. So Absolutely. You guys better have your wine picked out then. So thank you guys. We picked out those questions to share with you. Thank you so much for asking. As always, again, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter right now. So ask us questions during the show. We will definitely answer. Maybe we'll highlight some on the screen so you can see your questions live. So all right, let's get into it. Let's roll.
All right, big stories of the week in the world of football. Last week, we were talking about the retirement of wide receiver Julian Edelman. And this week, we have another retirement to announce and to talk about. Quarterback position, Mr. Alex Smith announcing his retirement on Monday through Instagram. 36 years old, 16 seasons in the NFL. Another, just like Eli, 16 seasons.
Yep.
Just like Eli Manning, was also a number 1 overall pick way back in the day by the San Francisco 49ers.
I know.
In the 2005 NFL draft. He looks so much like younger.
Like how much? Like I literally was looking at that picture of draft day, and I was like,
No,
"Who is this?"
I mean it more so like some of these guys that are like starting to retire. They look kind of like
no,
and bruised and battered and old. And I feel like he still has like a young look to him.
You're absolutely correct. I was thinking back to draft day where he like literally, they all look like babies on draft day, but he had long
sideburns.
He looked extra bebe on draft day.
He did. But yeah, so drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, was honestly a great player for them, and then found himself in a position where Colin Kaepernick took over as the starting quarterback there. So then he bounced to Kansas City, where eventually Patrick Mahomes became the starting quarterback there, and ended his career with the Washington football team. During his career, obviously he was just named Comeback Player of the Year after battling back from that absolutely gruesome 2018 leg injury. He was out all of 2019 and kind of just made a miraculous comeback in the 2020 season. Was not slated to be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team, but found himself in that position and then found himself winning games for them. So he showed that he still has it, which is why this is definitely a bittersweet retirement announcement. You kind of wanted to just see him keep it going.
You wanted to see more for sure.
At the same time, you're like, okay, he can leave and he's healthy and he's.
Well, think about how many times like after he came back, like everyone was so happy for him to make that start and to get on the field.
So
but every time someone hit him, like remember when Aaron Donald hit him, I was like, like oh my god,
don't even touch him.
No.
But anyways, Smith had said earlier this off season that he was interested in pursuing a new opportunity in the league. And he could have continued his career if he wanted to. It was reported that multiple teams wanted to sign him, and he even went as far as visiting with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But ultimately, he decided to walk away. He does have, young children, and now he has his health. And I understand this decision. Alex Smith finishes his career with a record of 99, 67, and 1. That's a really, really good record over 16
Listen,
years.
Alex Smith is a real deal.
He's a baller. It would have been awesome to see him get win number 100, but his 99 wins are the 5th most by any quarterback selected number 1 overall. And he also joins Brett Favre as the only quarterback since 1950 to start on 3 or more teams and have a winning record with each one that he played for.
I love it. You'd love to see it. I love that.
I think what it comes down to his career and what people are going to look at. Unfortunately, that leg injury is going to be like the thing that people remember. But another thing, and I've said it on the show before, Alex Smith was really labeled a game manager, but I feel as though that label is said in a negative way a lot of times, but this was really a positive thing for Alex Smith. Alex Smith never did anything flashy, but this guy never turned the ball over. He could produce touchdowns. He was never throwing interceptions. He was never fumbling. He could march you down the field and do what had to be done. And so there's a reason he has such a strong winning record, and he did with all 3 teams that he played for. And hats off to him, because it was a career that I think he should be very proud of.
Listen, quarterbacks can do flashy things. They can throw dimes down the field for X plus yards, do whatever. A quarterback that can manage time, manage the game, take you down the field and take time off the clock is terrifying, is absolutely terrifying. And he was one of those people. So I 100% agree with you that game manager is kind of frowned upon sometimes. And why? Why would you not want someone who can actually literally take time away, which that really is it at the end of the day. Katie and I were shaking in our boots when he would go in this past season for Washington against the Giants. Like, we didn't want him. No. I don't care if it was his first, second off of that leg injury, or 10 years ago, or X amount of years ago, Alex Smith, or next year, Alex Smith. I don't care what Alex Smith it is. I don't want him coming in. No, thank you. No, thank you. Like, I'm good. Like, no, thank you. But I got to say, his retirement video was very touching. It talked a lot about how he was so against football after the injury. And he was like, I'm not I don't care. Like, I almost died. Like, I'm not going. I can't. Am I going to be able to walk with my kids again? My wife? Like, I'm not. But then one of his trainers was like, hey, actually, like, this mobility with a football might help you. And holding the football again. And he said, like, it's more than a game. And he was like, and I want people to realize that it's more than just going out there and getting paid to do what you love. Like, it's just, there's so much. And he was like, and this is coming from a guy that when the injury happened, I hated it. And he's like, I hate football. Like, I don't like it. Like, I'm not going back. I'm not doing that. So.
Well, he's also going out now on his terms. I mean, teams still want him. It's not like he's
watching. No, of course.
So it's like he's going out on his terms instead of going out when it's just been decided for you because you had such a bad injury. Like, I love this for him. This is great. And I'm all about it. But you do miss seeing guys like this in the league.
Yeah.
I say it, I feel like every week we're just losing some of these names that we've been so used to having around in the league, and seeing them end their careers. It's I don't like it. I don't like change. So this is a lot.
I don't like it either. And I mean, even last week, like, I was making my case for Teddy Bridgewater, and I compared him to Alex Smith. And that's who I chose to compare him to, because I've been so impressed with Alex Smith, and I'm impressed with Teddy Bridgewater, and that's who I chose to compare to.
Right.
And I thought that was, a great comparison. And now here we are, and we're reading off the stats of Alex Smith's career, and they are absolutely tremendous. And, this may sound corny and cheesy, but he didn't get that 100th win. But hey, maybe this statement of him retiring, maybe this is it. This is his last win, moving on. So maybe he actually did get the 100th win, and it's making this decision. And like, I think he said his final sign off in his retirement video is that he will now get to walk with his children, his wife, and move on and see. Yeah. And I think he alluded to, I think their backyard is going to get turned into like a football field or something. He alluded to something that's coming for his children in the backyard. So I'm very excited to see what that is. And maybe he'll do something like Phillip Rivers, become a football coach, a high school, college football coach. I can see it. Again, game manager, smart brain. So let's see. But hats off from both Katie and I. It was really wonderful watching Alex Smith throughout these years.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty. I got multiple documents up here. I want to make sure I pull up the right one. So we're going to give you some quick hot topics in regards to the NFL as our quote unquote second topic of the night. So on Thursday, defensive end Aldon Smith signed with Seattle, but days later, an arrest warrant was issued for him on second-degree battery charge after causing severe injuries to a male victim on Saturday. So, a lot going on there, but Smith could face a fine up to $2,000 and or a max prison sentence of 8 years if convicted. So the investigation is still ongoing, but something you don't want to see after like an acquisition is made, like after something is made, like something comes out like that. But I definitely, I do remember the tweet coming out, and his mugshot is definitely, it's gruel. It's not good. He doesn't look good in it, to be honest. And I think that was kept being mentioned, like in the reports of this happening, that he, this deal had just been made, or like the move had just been made. And it's like a lot of people were just saying, like, listen, like, honestly, like, football should be the last thing on this guy's mind right now. Like, if this is coming out, I 100% agree. Like,
and obviously Seattle is going to do their due diligence, and they are keeping themselves informed and, figuring out what they're going to do on their end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like it happened, and I was like, "Oh, good pickup for Seattle," and then that happened, and it was just like, "Oh, okay." So we're gonna see how it plays out and how it shakes out.
Yeah,
there's a couple of guys dealing with some legal woes. that we have to talk about. So
got a lot going on, but all right. So our second quick hot topic, not the store hot topic if you still shop there, but our NFL hot topics. 2 days after signing defensive end Jadeveon Clowney, the Cleveland Browns released defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson on Friday. They are saving $11 million hairs in cap space here. So big dollar bills, y'all.
yeah.
Give me, if anyone's watching live, name that movie, dollar bills, y'all. Richardson played for Cleveland for the past 2 seasons and starred in all 16 games. So big starter there for both years. With his release, FanDuel.com has Buffalo, Miami, and the New York Giants as his top 3 most likely landing spots. I actually haven't heard of the Giants as a landing spot for this one, so I do want to look into that a little bit more. So
I'm not sure if it would happen, but listen, this is a hot name out on the market right now, so I don't think he's going to be out there too long.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if by next week's show, he's already found a new home. There's a reason he was getting paid so much money. He's producing. He's a great player. I guess they just felt that it was going to be too pricey to keep both him and Clowney. I mean, obviously freeing up $7 million in cap space is huge. But yeah,
the Giants can't afford. I
think somebody will snatch him up real quickly.
Yeah,
this is still a really, really quality, solid player.
I just think the funniest thing, coming from a Giants fan perspective, is going into last season, it was defense, we got to fix this. We're so bad, all this stuff. And now,
great.
I'm feeling very confident with the defense. I'm actually feeling a little confident with the offense too. So it's these rumors come around and I'm kind of laid back about it. I'm I don't know if we need them. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still bumming over the loss of Dalvin Tomlinson. I think that
God, Katie, I go to bed every night bumming that loss.
I think we have guys that could fill in, but that's a big loss. And so if they're going to entertain other, defensive tackles out there, even defensive ends, I get it. I get it.
Well, listen, honestly, so the Giants did have their presser this week, and Gettleman did come out and he did say that, Dalvin was a huge loss for the Giants. And he said that, given that he was a captain, great leader on the team. And he said there's definitely regrets on our end that we weren't able to save him. But listen, we say this, Katie and I say this week after week, pull out the bias, pull out the fact that we're Giants fans. The NFL is a business and there is a lot of money involved. And at the end of the day, the Giants made a business decision. And sometimes when you make these decisions, there are regrets. And it wasn't a sour thing. I don't think anyone left sour. I think I loved the outpour to Dalvin from Giants Nation to him.
You can't keep everybody. So it is what it is, unfortunately.
Listen, if you could keep everyone, you'd have the New England Patriots circa what year?
2007.
On steroids, but not on steroids, on something else drug times 8 billion. Throw in another couple of sports in there, and that's what you have. If you
Sheldon Richardson would still, be playing for the Cleveland Browns.
Exactly.
So it is
exactly. So that is life, and that is it. So you move on. So finally, as Katie alluded to before, we're still talking about some legalities, some legal situations going on. So on Monday, Deshaun Watson's lawyer made an official statement during the allegation and claims made against him and they're requesting a trial by jury. So a total of 22 women now have filed civil suits. And after learning the identities of the women, his legal team believes that they've uncovered evidence to show that the accusations are not true. So to my knowledge, so I know it says 22 women on there. To my knowledge, I think one of the women actually backed out and just said
23, and one of the her statement. Yeah. So that's interesting as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure his legal team is going to bring that up. It's
Wait,
going to
so
be interesting.
I want to walk down memory lane with our fans right now. So obviously, if you guys watched, are you making noises? So if you guys watched Real Football Fans in New Jersey from the get-go, you knew my dog Tucker, who recently passed, always came on screen. Well,
Yeah.
I do want to share now. I am dog sitting, so I do want to
Hi,
share with the world.
baby.
Her name is Honey Bear. She is the cutest, and she's requesting pets from me right now. So I know we are live. So, Honey, are you going to say hi? No, I think she just wants
Hi,
pets.
baby. Hi, honey.
I know she just wants pets, and she's making a couple growly sounds as she wants pets from. You can come up here. I want to give her pets all in, but it is so throwback to our OG fans who've watched us from the beginning. This won't be our last time that we have a dog harassing us underneath the table, because that is exactly what she's doing right now. So, but gives me major Tucker vibes. So
Yeah.
I'm in a very good mood right now. So. But yeah, honestly, like circling back to the Deshaun Watson stuff, I mean, listen, it's just, you got to figure it out and you got to move forward. So listen, if a trial by jury or whatever it's called, if that's what's going to solve for it, then that's what it's solved for it. We're inching closer to the season where it's Deshaun Watson still having drama with the Houston Texans of like, is he actually going to play for them? Is he going to sit out? What are you going to do? He does not want to play there. So
the Texans just have to be in the mindset of like going forward without him. They have to just be like
100%.
Like, we hope he's there, but we have to go forward preparing ourselves for the fact that he won't be there.
And he has to figure, honestly, this is like a huge, obviously personal situation for him. Like, he's got to figure his shit out. And like, if this were me and I were 100% innocent and I knew I were innocent, I'd be like, you know what, let's go. Like, you gotta end it. You gotta get that bad taste out of people's mouth of your name, and you gotta, let's go. Like,
we'll see what happens. We're going to keep you guys posted. It's obviously ongoing. But let's get into our big stories of the week in the world of Housewives. We are going to come back to football for our game, so stay around for that. But we actually have Housewives quick hot topics this week. A couple of little, quick ones that we wanted to bring to your attention. Real Housewives of Orange County, Gina. Obviously, we know there's been woes with her and her ex-husband, Matt. Matt is, in fact, pleading guilty in their domestic battery case. Matt's lawyer has basically said, he's accepting full responsibility. He's apologized to Gina and to his family. He really just wants to, take the blame for his wrongdoings. He was wrong and just wants to try to move forward with his family. He is going to see a judge in court on June 9th, so we'll see what happens with that. But he was also due in court yesterday for a separate felony charge where he could face up to 7 years in prison. What is it about these housewives and always having these legal woes?
Like, you're on TV, like you're on, like, what is going on? Like, you are literally in the public eye, like, or someone, or you're attached to someone in the public eye. Like, what? I just don't understand. Like, people get like outed. Average Joes get outed. How do you think that you can escape? Like, I don't even know.
I think sometimes money does things to people. I don't know.
Money can't buy you class. If you want to quote one of the best, Luann.
Oh, Lou.
Money can't buy you class.
Oh, Lou, we love you, girl. And then Real Housewives of Dallas. We've got newbie Tiffany Moon. She did tell People Magazine she is unsure if she will return to Dallas for season 6. Season 5 was her first season. She said that to come back, something would have to change, especially since she is still working 4 days a week. She's got kids. It's a lot on her plate. She did say she has not officially been asked back yet and is kind of unsure about what's going on. So
I liked her. So like, I dabbled in Dallas a little bit this season. I've dabbled in Dallas in the past. And I know it's like I don't know what that's called, but like dabbled in Dallas. But I've done in the past, and like, it's not like my favorite franchise, but I definitely watched it. So I've actually watched it a decent amount this season. I think she's a great addition to that cast. Not only she obviously brings diversity to that franchise, which is very much like New York. They need diversity.
Right.
I love, the fact that she's a doctor, she's a female, and she's very powerful, and she's got a family, and I've liked a lot that she's brought to the table.
Yeah.
So I do, and I think it's, that's on Bravo and it's on their PR. They can't officially ask people back right away.
Let's say though that Bravo wants to bring her back and she doesn't come back strictly for the reason that she's just too busy with work and her kids, and that's understandable. But it's it would have to be a little bit frustrating on Bravo's end, being like, why did we bring her on in the first place? Like, these were things that were on her plate, last year. And
she cut back on work mid-season.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like Bravo lately has been on a roll with their rookie casting. And so I feel like having a one and done is kind of a failure to them now.
It'll be a setback. I think she was facing a couple of other like adversities too. Like there was a couple of things like with like her co-star Brandy. So Brandy had a lot of backlash a year or two ago going on her like Instagram live, like making fun of the fact that she looked Chinese and Asian because of her like slanted eyes. And, obviously Tiffany is Asian, and she, brought that up with her, like that wasn't okay and things like that. And there's a couple of other things that were brought up this season too, with like her culture and things like that were just like weren't okay. So I think she, might come out and say like it might be work and her family and things like that. But I think she actually hit a lot of downfalls this season too, just like in regards to everything.
Yeah, regardless, whatever it would be, if Bravo wants like her to come back and it doesn't happen, that's definitely a bummer on their end. But last quick hot topic, Real Housewives of Orange County's Bronwyn. Obviously, she has made this past year, but she's officially split with her girlfriend Chris about a month ago.
I did see that.
Friends. Their split was amicable. Chris was Bronwyn's first girlfriend since she came out as a lesbian a few months ago, and she is apparently already back on the dating scene and seeing other women. So she's just ready to hit the ground running. She's all about, dipping her toe in the lady pond, enjoying life now as
single
herself, and her
single and ready to mingle.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta do, and she's not getting any younger. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, so that's that with them, and going to be interesting to see how Sean continues to feel as it goes forward. Like if she, dating other people now.
I don't know if we'll actually know. I don't know if she's going back to Orange County. Like that was like the biggest thing. Like what was it, like 2-3 months ago, where everyone like wanted Orange County like canceled. Like they didn't even want like it back. Like so
yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with her love life. We'll see what happens with her weird twisted marriage. But we'll keep you posted on everything. So
yeah, we will.
No, I just said, I said NFL quick hot topics. Those were our housewife quick hot topics. So
they meshed
it for football.
They mesh together. But speaking of, not speaking of football, we're still in Housewives. I pushed us way too far. I fast forwarded the episode real quick. No, we're still on Housewives. So maybe it's because I wanted to go past this because of how upset I am. So our final topic in regards to Housewives is the Real Housewives of New Jersey. We obviously gave you
New York.
Oh, New York. See, I can't even think straight. I don't even know. I'm in Pennsylvania. We're talking about New York, but I said New Jersey. Where am I?
It's a weird vibe.
Where am I on the map? I have no idea. Like, I don't even know what region I am in right now. So we are talking about the Real Housewives of New York. And we talked about the trailer a couple of weeks ago, a couple of episodes ago. And listen, Katie and I are excited. We broke down the trailer. We are very excited. We're very, very intrigued about this season. It's going to be a good one. But the taglines just came out. And of course, I will do my due diligence.
Do it.
And I will read you the taglines as I normally do, but then Katie and I will definitely break them down for you for sure. Yeah. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
So starting off with the Countess herself, Luann. Of all my vices, being glamorous is one I'll never give up. Oh, I fucked that one up a little bit. Okay. Maybe we'll come back to it. Leah, I'm sex positive and BS negative. Ramona, I may say the wrong thing, but my intentions are always the right thing. No, damn it! I messed that one up too. Oh, I can't even read.
Added words into that one.
I know. Let me read that again. I may say the wrong thing, but my intentions are always right.
There you go.
Ebony, she's our new gal. I'm excited for her. I've had to work twice as hard for half as much, but now I'm coming for everything.
All right.
And finally, with Miss Sonia Morgan. Just like New York City, Sonia Morgan never goes out of style.
Yeah.
All right. So, first and foremost, these are absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Not even, I'm going to tell you, Katie, I don't even like one of them.
These are probably some of the worst we've seen.
I've ever seen. And for a iconic franchise.
Yeah, that's the part that always bothers me. It's like, especially with New York, these women have such like funny stories and funny one-liners, and I feel like it wouldn't be hard to like come up with something really creative and really funny for each of them.
Like,
and
I feel like the two of us can come up with like them right now.
I truly believe we could too. I think they totally missed the mark. I think my biggest complaint to Caitlin, and this will just go, I'm just going to tell you straight up what my least favorite one is Ramona's. And I told Caitlin, I felt as though somebody who doesn't even know Ramona, who doesn't watch the show at all, could have written that tagline. It's so generic. It could just be about anybody.
They're all generic, I think. I mean, Sonia's has her name in it, but like you can easily replace. Okay, so Sonia refers to her name in New York City. Okay, all these women are from New York City. You have Ramona and Luann that have been there for a very long time too. I could easily say, just like New York City, Luann Decepts never goes out of style.
You know what?
Ramona Singer never goes out of style.
Ebony's, if I had to pick a favorite, it might be Ebony's because I like how it's.
But is it because we don't know her?
No, okay, we don't know her, so obviously she doesn't have like a one-liner or funny moment that we can, correlate with her just yet. So I think I kind of like this one because what I saw from the trailer is like she comes in hot, like in a good way. Like she's not going to take.
Oh no, I like the way she filmed it. Yeah.
I feel like her tagline is like showing that she's got like a fierce personality. Yep. Like I'm here to take everything. Like I'm not taking shit. Like I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Well, that's a huge part of it too. So like we're obviously telling you, if you're watching us live right now or listening on the podcast, Katie and I are telling you the tagline. I recommend you go watch these women, but a huge part of it is how they present themselves. Right. And while Ramona's tagline sucked, the way she says it, the way they filmed her sucks. She's so bland. Ramona, girl. And that's why you alluded to, like, is she like going to be done after this? After the way I watched her film this, she might be. Like, she might be out.
Here's the one other thing I want to bring up. Like, obviously we knew who was coming back. We knew who was leaving. But I don't think it was until this very moment when we saw the taglines. And I said this to Caitlin. She was like, I thought the same exact thing. Is there's only 5 women.
I know. It's small, yeah.
Here. I mean, obviously we don't have Tinsley. We lost Dorinda. And yes, we did get Ebony. They had to bring in somebody. It couldn't be 4 women. But 5 feels like nothing. I mean, they're really lucky in the fact that 4 of these women, and I can't speak about Ebony because I don't know her. I haven't seen her on TV yet, but at least these 4 women are like powerhouse cast members. Because 5 seems very little. Maybe the whole thing was that they really were trying to bring Heather back full time, and then she bounced.
Work out,
so, I don't know, but I would think moving forward. I mean, I talked about it'd be great to have Tinsley back. I think they really need to work to try to make that happen, or even consider bringing Dorinda back, because I think Dorinda and Bravo would like to meet again in the future. Yeah. I think they were like, Dorinda, take a break.
Yeah. And but sometimes you need to take a break.
Women.
It's going to be small. So it's definitely going to be very intimate. Like, we're going to see some intimate moments for sure. It's not like, obviously, Beverly Hills came out. We spoke about that last week. So it's not like there's a lot of women on that. Yeah. And they have friends. So they have people holding the diamonds, but they also have friends too. Right. So So we'll see. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be, it's an interesting season for sure.
The season better be better than these taglines. I'll tell you that much.
We'll just have to fast forward through the intro every time. But yeah.
Or maybe they'll pull that weird thing that they did the one season where halfway through they changed their taglines.
Wait, well, wasn't it because it was Tinsley left? So I think they like had an opportunity to
weird. They had never done
that. Yeah, they pulled her. So I think they were like, let's mix this up a bit. So whoever like those producers were, like you guys were on point. Like you guys did a great job. Like you changed it. I think the taglines were actually a little better mid-season. So, but if you guys ever like, this is a shout out to Bravo. If you're listening and you know someone at Bravo, like just Katie and I will probably do it for free. Like, just you need to be better. Like, you guys need to be better. Just come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into our game for the night. Now we are going to go there, play our game. It is football related, as I told you earlier in the show. And we definitely wanted to give it a little bit of a NFL draft theme.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're not looking ahead. We're looking back. And this game is called The Hidden Gems of Drafts Past. So with the NFL draft starting next week, we're taking a look at draft results from the past 5 years. And we are giving you our list in order, 1 through 10, of the best players to have been taken in the late rounds. So we are looking at rounds 4 through 7. So many interesting names, a lot of guys to choose from. I'm so interested to hear your list. How do we want to break this down?
I don't know. How do you want to like do 1 through 5 maybe, or like, and then go to 6 through 10?
Let's start. We could start 1 through 5.
Okay.
Why don't we go together? You can give us your number 1. I'll give my number 1.
Okay.
So
I do want to say that and I think Katie and I have mentioned this like time after time. I think it's probably the past 3 years that we've been doing this. Like when the draft comes around, like when you guys have like spare time, like go on Wikipedia and just look at the drafts from years past. Like it's a very interesting thing to do. And you see where your team has succeeded year over year. You know, that's how Katie and I have uncovered, the Giants thrive in the second round. It's a theme. It's a trend. It's data. We have the data. It's literally there that the Giants, since Michael Strahan was drafted, like have just done very well in the second and third rounds pretty much. So like, it's very interesting to go back and look. And Katie and I have played a lot of games over the past 3 years in regards to the draft. So it's fun to look. But one of the things that I did pick out, and like it's kind of upsetting, and maybe it goes back to our conversation around Alex Smith before, as I'm analyzing these guys, like a lot of them don't play anymore. And it's we're looking back only 5 years, like 5 years. So it's pretty sad, but so. Just a takeaway.
All right. Well, let's start with number 1 then. I'm interested to hear who you got as your number 1 guy in your list, your best guy taken in one of these late rounds in the last 5 years. Who we got?
I'm going with Mr. George Kittle.
Ooh, Georgie boy. Okay. All right. I'm going with a quarterback. If you can hit on your franchise quarterback in rounds 4 through 7, that to me is the biggest steal that you can get draft wise. So I'm going with quarterback Dak Prescott. He was taken in 2016, 4th round, number 135 overall. He was the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, a 2-time Pro Bowler, and got paid big time because he is the franchise face of the Dallas Cowboys. So he is my number 1 slot. All right, number 2, who do you got?
Don't you worry. My quick runner-up was Mr. Dak Prescott. So don't you worry there. Of course, he is absolutely has to be mentioned in this area, and he was definitely my number 2.
All right. Number 2, I am going with a wide receiver. I am going with Mr. Tyreek Hill. I do have written down when they went, because I always think that's like the most interesting part. Tyreek Hill was taken in the 2016 draft. He went in the 5th round at number 165 overall. He is now a Super Bowl champion, a 3-time first-team All-Pro. I mean, that to me is the thing that stands out the most. And already a 5-time Pro Bowler. So he's made the Pro Bowl every season he's been in the league. Outstanding player. 5th round, it just blows your mind.
All of these people blow my mind.
Yeah, for real. All right, number 3.
I guess we're just one step behind each other because my number 3 is Mr. Tyreek Hill.
All right. I mean, I definitely think it's going to be, it's an interesting order, and definitely like the middle of my pack is so interchangeable. Yep. But number 3, already mentioned before, Caitlin's number 1 guy. Yep. Now I'm going with tight end George Kittle, taken in the 2017 draft, another 5th rounder, number 146 overall, already a first-team All-Pro, and was selected once as a second-team All-Pro and a 2-time Pro Bowler. Definitely solidified his spot already as probably top 2 tight ends in the league, and just a great overall player. All right, number 4. This is where I feel like 4 through the rest of it could get really interesting.
Yep, I am going with Mr. Aaron Jones at number 4. With I think that a lot of people maybe be like open their eyes a little bit because as we were talking about everything much going on in free agency recently, and the Packers and what they were going to do, and were they going to move on, were they going to move forward with Aaron Jones? And I think they did make the right decision moving forward. And to know a big name like that went in the later rounds, you do love to see it, and you love to see his success. So I'm putting him in the number 4 spot for me.
Not a lot of good fantasy running backs in the NFL. This is one of them. So I mentioned 4 running backs earlier. If you end up with a guy like Aaron Jones, that's pretty good as well. All right, number 4, I'm going on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going with safety Eddie Jackson.
All right.
He was taken in the 2017 NFL draft, 5th round, another 5th rounder, 112 overall. Already a 2-time Pro Bowler, a first-team All-Pro. Again, like if you've made that All-Pro list, to me, that's the thing that stands out most for me, because it's only a select few, really hard to make it. So that's probably why I have him sneaking in at 4 when, again, a lot of these guys could sort of be interchangeable. But that's a big one to me. All right, number 5. Who do we have?
I'll say his name first, and I'll say the reasoning why. So I'm going with Mr. Blake Martinez at number 5. I want to just say that I'm truly grateful that actually the Giants picked him up, because I don't think, I think a lot of people did not realize his talent in Green Bay. And maybe you as a Green Bay fan listening or watching, you did realize it, but me as just your standard NFL fan, whatever, his name wasn't always in my face. His stats weren't always in my face. So that's why I'm saying right now, I'm truly thankful he was brought onto my team to where I can look at him through like a microscope and really understand him. And to know again in one of these years that he went in the later rounds. While he didn't go to the Giants in the later round, we did end up getting him later on. I'm very thankful for it. And I do think he deserves, one of the top 5 slots. So I'm going to go ahead with like Blake Martinez here.
Phenomenal free agency pickup for the Giants. And
hell yeah.
Honestly loved him since day one of being with Big Blue. He's definitely a fan favorite for Caitlin and I. So, All right, number 5, I'm going defensive side of the ball again. This is like, I never mess up with names, right? But this is like one that I'm like iffy on. I hope I'm saying it right, but I'm going with linebacker Joe Schobert.
I think it's Schobert.
Schobert.
I'll talk about him later on, but it's funny, the same thing like with Blake Martinez, like it was kind of like it wasn't, I don't want to call them interchangeable, but it was kind of like,
well, listen, we've got both they're linebackers, they play the same position, but I'm going with him. He was taken in 2016. He was a 4th rounder, pick number 99, which is actually the first pick of the 4th round. So he was almost a 3rd rounder, but he has been a Pro Bowler. And very much so, like Blake Martinez, did have one of his NFL seasons so far where he was the NFL tackles co-leader. So this is definitely a guy you want on your side. He's in on every play, very much so like Blake. And again, so interchangeable. Let's see how the rest of it shakes out. We're going through our second half, 6 through 10. Who do you have at number 6?
I have Mr. Chris Carson coming at number 6. Another
What
player
round?
that we were what?
What round was he in? Why the hell did I miss Chris Carson?
Unless I am lying to the world right now.
Did I might have missed him.
I don't think I wrote
I'll
this
check.
down.
You talk about him. I'm going to check.
You check the receipts. I believe I am correct. But I was going to say another player that we were just talking about in free agency and that the Seattle Seahawks chose to move forward and made the right decision, of course.
Oh, wow.
Bada boom. Was it 6?
He was taken in the 7th round of the.
Oh, the 7th. I was going to say 6th. Okay. Bada boom. Bada bing.
Number 249, people. I missed him somewhere, so I'm very disappointed he's not on my list. I would have put him on my list as well.
CC, baby.
Yeah, I think he's very underrated. I've said it on the show a lot of times.
I think you like him more than I do, and I'm not saying that and I have nothing against him, but like in this aspect of where we're looking at people, like for me to see him, and like I thought it was 6, like I just said, but I guess it was 7. So like to see him that low, and honestly, yeah, like when we're looking at these lists, by the time we got to the 7th round, we were probably like, oh, who are these?
Right. I probably didn't look all the way at pick 2.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely. I'm great that you caught it. Number 6, I'm actually going with running back here. I'm showing love to your guy who was a little bit lower on your list. I'm going with Aaron Jones. And he was taken in 2017 in the 5th round, pick number 182. He's been a powerhouse for Green Bay. He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard rush seasons. I think he's gone over 1,100 yards the last 2 seasons. Always finding the end zone. Again, great fantasy football player, great real-life football player, and absolutely making this list and being high up on it for sure. All right, number 7.
I'm going with someone that can definitely probably be interchangeable with definitely all the names that we've said so far, or names that are coming later. Probably more of the names that are coming later in the list, but I do think that he deserves a shout out in the top 10. I'm going to go with Indianapolis's Marlon Mack.
Ooh, I must have missed him too. Oh my God. I totally missed him as well. This is a great game because
it is
people that I totally didn't see.
But that's what I'm saying. Like people, like you just have to go, even if it's not for a game or for your podcast. Like when you have like leisure time, like leisurely look at Wikipedia, like leisurely look at it.
Yeah, I'm totally pulling up it now too because this has me so interested now. Okay. Marlon Mack was a 4th round pick in 2017, pick number 143 overall. And again, great addition to your list. Glad you caught it. There's another one that I missed. But I am going defensive side of the ball again. A lot of defensive players on my list. I'm going with the defensive end this time. So, this is the highest defensive end that I have on my list. And I'm going with Mr. Max Crosby.
Okay. He is not on my list. I will admit that for forward. So, but yeah.
So far, and listen,
it's a good one.
I'll just tell you straight up, I don't have any guys from 2020 because it's just too early. You know what I mean?
I don't think I have any.
So I will reveal to you that I don't have anyone in 2020. And Max Crosby is my only player that I have from 2019. So I feel like if you've only had 2 seasons under your belt so far and you've already made such a name for yourself, that's huge. So Max Crosby deserves a spot on this list. 4th round, number 106 overall. He actually finished 2nd in NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. And he's had 17 sacks in his first 2 seasons. He's a beast, and this is a kid that is going to be lighting up the stat sheet for years to come. That's the exciting part about all these guys is like a lot of them are they're babies, and they're just getting started. So, all right, number 8.
So very much to your explanation previously, and this is I want to say this is a non-biased thing. I really want to tip my hat to Darius Slayton. He was picked in the later rounds, and I see a very bright future for him, whether, and I don't want to jinx anything, whether it is on the Giants or another franchise. I do see so much spark out of this kid, and he is so freaking talented. It's not even funny for him to go in such a later round. I have to give it to him here. So.
I 1000% agree with you that this was a steal, as we're calling this game, like a gem of a late
round. He played at Auburn. Like you're playing at
the Giants. Like, I remember when it happened, and again, I'm not a huge college football viewer, but I remember when it happened.
One of my rivals, like literally a rival of mine.
Yeah, like, I was very excited about this kid.
I did have to play him year after year. Yeah. I knew what his talent was, so
spoiler alert. He is definitely number one on my honorable mention list.
I have an honorable mention.
Almost make my list. But he is not on there, but he is my number one honorable mention. All right, number 8. I'm going with a defensive end again, and I'm going with Matt Judon.
Okay.
Taken in the 2016 NFL Draft, 5th round, number 146 overall.
He's in my honorable mention.
a 2-time Pro Bowler, 69 total sacks in 5 seasons. So he knows how to go after the quarterback, as you hope your defensive end, does and knows how to do. Does his job. Great player. And making my list at number 8. So we got our last 2 spots on our list. We'll see who they are reserved for. Who do you have at number 9?
As much as it kills me, as I am in the state of Pennsylvania right now, and I am surrounded by Philadelphia, everything here, and I'm looking to my left, and there's a Eagles Super Bowl newspaper cutout. Number 8.
Feed it to Honey Bear.
I know. I honestly might. I might get killed, to be honest. So, but at least I will die with what is it?
You'll die a hero.
I will die a New York Giants hero. I truly will. But coming in at number 9, I gotta give it to him. I'm gonna go with Jalen Mills here.
Oh yes, you know what? Definitely a name I came across. He almost made my list as well. Definitely worth being mentioned. Whether he made your list, he didn't make mine, but definitely an honorable mention. And that's a good one. I like it. Number 9, I am going to show love to this man as well. He made your list a little bit earlier, and I am going to throw a New York Giant out there and go with Blakey Martinez.
Oh, Blakey Poo, we love
you. Number 9 linebacker, taken in 2016. 4th round, number 131 overall. As Caitlin said, he did not start out with us. He started with the Green Bay Packers.
We used you in 2016, Blakey Poo. We could have used you.
Yeah. He was an NFL tackles co-leader one season. He's always top 5 in tackles, season after season.
Yeah.
He's had and as I'm about to say, he's had over 100 tackles in 4 of his first 5 seasons. So when I said it before, but I'm going to say it again about Blake. He is truly in on every single play. Yeah. Wherever that ball is going, he is all over the field. Love his style of play. Absolute beast. Yeah. So happy to have him.
He's literally everywhere.
Yeah. He truly is. He comes out of nowhere sometimes, but he's everywhere. In on every play. All right. Last spot. Who are you going to give it to? Number 10 on your list.
I'm going with Derek Watt. Comes in at number 10 for me.
Ooh, okay. A Watt brother?
Listen,
all right.
That family just doesn't breed you know what I mean? You don't just I don't know how I think I was talking about that the other day with someone, how does just your family breed 3 NFL players? And not just athletes, your family could breed athletes. Your family bred 3 NFL players, 3. And I think they're all they're all on the defensive side of the 3 NFL defense.
I've seen it in basketball. I've seen it in football. Sometimes those genes are just too damn good. But number 10, I actually reserved for a special teamer.
Undrafted?
No. I also, as we were going about this game and I was picking people, I did realize that we should have included undrafted guys.
I did. I have an honorable mention undrafted person.
There are some really, really good ones that will blow your mind that they were not drafted. But I stuck with rounds 4 through 7, and I'm giving this last spot to a special teamer. And that special teamer is going to be kicker Harrison Butker.
Okay.
Taken. Listen. Now, if a kicker was taken in rounds 1 through 3, I would just laugh at a team. I would even laugh at a team taking one in 4 through.
Well, listen, Riley Dixon was like a 6th-round pick, so I'm happy about Riley Dixon.
He almost made my list as well.
He almost
Harrison Butker, 2017, as kickers should. He was taken in the 7th round, pick number 233. He as well is a Super Bowl champion now. And he made the all-rookie team. He holds the Kansas City record for longest field goal at 58 yards. He has already solidified himself as one of the top kickers in the league. He's definitely going to be, in your top 5 fantasy kickers. So make sure you remember his name and draft him if you get the opportunity to. So I decided that if a kicker is going to make my list, all right, I'm going to slide him in at number 10. And I still feel as though he is worthy of making the list.
Yeah. No, I totally respect that. Obviously, so Katie had mentioned a couple of names that are actually on my honorable mention list. So she obviously mentioned Joe Schubert, Matt Judon, Eddie Jackson. They are on my honorable mention. But someone who is undrafted, who was undrafted and is on my honorable mention is Jacoby Myers. I did want to shoot him out real quick. Undrafted.
I honestly think there's even better ones than that.
There are. So Will Lutz was undrafted, obviously another kicker. Aldrich Rosas before his shit show was undrafted. There are, and I know there's 2 special teams people. There are a bunch of other people as well. I did want to call out Jacoby Myers though, because I think we've spoken about him a lot on the show, and I do think he delivers. And I think it's you got to give love to the undrafted people for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Great game. I cannot wait to, honestly, Caitlin and I'm going to speak for her because I know it for a fact. We truly watch the NFL draft from start to finish.
We do.
We might be out drinking mimosas on Saturday and Sunday while it's going on in the background, but we really honestly do watch every day of it. And I love seeing, looking back and seeing the names in those later rounds that have, made household names for themselves in the NFL.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to find, right?
No, exactly. And that's what we say, go back and look at your team's history. And that's just you might be so upset with your 1st-round pick from the past couple of years or your first couple round picks, but don't ever sleep on who you get in the later round.
Every damn pick counts. It could be a Tom Brady out there. You never know. You
literally never know. So that's probably the most prime example. So.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, it is that time of the episode where we are getting it off our chest. Positive, negative, football, housewives, wine, life, anything. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off? Because I feel as if we are on the same train, Winky Face, for this one. That's a little bit of a giveaway there, but let's go. What do you got?
Want to give so much love to running back Wayne Gallman. As of today, no longer officially a New York Giant, is joining the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm definitely heartbroken about it. And I almost feel like Giants organization and Giants fans appreciate him, but I do feel as though more people should be like me, where they're literally heartbroken about it.
There was a lot of love on Twitter today. I do have to tell you, there was definitely a lot of love on Twitter.
That's good. But I honestly with Saquon Barkley going out last year, with your quarterback position, Daniel,
you had to fill his shoes essentially.
Right. And you look at your leaders, which you've got Saquon Barkley, he went out. You look at Daniel Jones playing the quarterback position. He was a little shaky. I look at the season last year, and at least on the offensive side of the ball, the MVP of the season for me was Wayne Gallman.
Yeah.
That kid ran with so much heart. when they say the cliche term, like blood, sweat, and tears, like that was Wayne Gallman. Wayne Gallman fought for every single inch. He was a very different style runner than Saquon Barkley, where like Saquon's shifty and he kind of waits for something to open up. Wayne Gallman was shot out of a cannon on every play, just straight ahead. Yeah. And I don't know which style I like better, but what he did work for him. And
we had both, and I liked having both, to be honest.
I just feel like this was a guy that I wish the Giants tried a little bit harder to keep him. I feel as though they were a little bit okay with just moving on. I know they picked up some guys in free agency, and I just don't understand why, because my hat goes off to him. I thought he was phenomenal. I loved having him. We got to meet him at the charity softball game, and I enjoyed having him as a New York Giant, and I loved watching him play this last season with Saquon out and him being the main guy to turn to, because I think he had a great season, and I showed that he's going to be a huge addition to that San Francisco team, and they're very lucky to have him.
It's a really great, as much as it pains me, it's a really great fit for him, I think, in San Francisco. I think he's going to do well there. And we're going to see it. I think we're going to see it immediately in 2021. We're going to immediately see it this season, which is great for that organization. And an injured franchise that has to come back healthy. You're getting a healthy player that had to, like we just said, fill in for a Saquon Barkley. Like that's your MO. Like you are the one filling in for Saquon Barkley. And I think he did it flawlessly. I think he did a great job. Like you had said, style of play was completely different, but he played his own way, and he played in ways that we needed him to play. And that was like just 100% great. And, you know, I do see the love on Twitter. It was good over the past couple of hours. I made sure that, you know, I loved him. We loved him from our Twitter account, and just thanking him and wishing him the best, because that's not always the case nowadays when players move on, when players are traded, when business decisions in the NFL are made. Sometimes people are upset and they're pissed and they don't understand what's going on and they don't know. But there's situations like Wayne Gallman where it happened and we do have to move on from it. But you are just so grateful to what they gave you.
I mean, I want to see him have success in San Francisco. Exactly. I want to see him crush it.
And that's what you want to see. And that's exactly the point I'm trying to get at, is that that's what you want, and you wish them nothing but the best. And listen, Are they going to someone else in the NFC? Yeah, of course. Are they going to someone else that we could potentially see in a championship?
Like if it was the Eagles or the Cowboys or Washington, we might not be saying this. But yeah, you're right. He is going to stay in the NFC. But that's how much love we have for him, that we want to see him succeed.
He did, and that was, I think, one of the things in my tweet was like, just thank you to everything that you gave the New York Giants. You gave so much to the Giants, and that's great. And I honestly so thankful for it. So I'm really happy that you chose that as your get it off your chest, because we, as Giants fans, we could not be more thrilled for you to move on to bigger and better things. But we, at the end of the day, we still want you here.
Don't ever be afraid to find your way back.
I still have high hopes for Jason Pierre-Paul to find his way back.
I know, right?
I honestly, I really do.
I do too. I always just.
It's gonna happen. I think. I don't know. I don't know when it's.
Giants past before, when we've had guys leave and come back home, and it feels right. Let's come back.
I already have the jersey. It's a good Jason Pierre-Paul. It's a really good jersey I have of yours. It's not
it as well. You've got the blue. I've got the white.
Yeah, and I buy youth jerseys now because they're small and they're cheap and they fit me. But the one Jason Pierre-Paul I have, it's an authentic jersey I have. It's seriously, if you want to come back, you come back. You come back, JPP. You come back at any time.
Anytime you want, baby. We're ready for you.
Seriously, though. But yeah, honestly, just cheers to Wayne Gallman. Thank you for everything.
Absolutely. Well, that is our show for tonight. And as sad as I am to leave you guys, I'm happy because this means that we're next time you see our faces, we are going to be 1 day away from the NFL draft. Right now, we are 8 days away. I cannot wait for it. We're definitely going to have a great draft episode. You're not going to want to miss it. But as far as things this week for the Real Housewives, New Jersey's on tonight at 9. Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion part 1, that is on Sunday at 8. Real Housewives of Dallas on Tuesday at 9. And also, little fun thing that came out today, we do have the NFL schedule is being released on May 12th. So we have that to look forward to as well. When that comes out, we are totally going to break that down. Can't wait for it. A lot of things to look forward to. So thanks for joining. And again, when you see these pretty faces next week, we are going to be draft ready, baby.
Drafting. We ready.
Cheers. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Cheers.